Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Culture Confederacy here, pipe and coffee in hand, smoking some sail this afternoon. But it looks like they lied to us. Lied to us about Salvador Ramos, the lone gunman in the Uvalde shooting, because as it turns out, he did have a juvenile or criminal record. Got two articles about this, one at the LA Times, one at Newsweek. I'm just going to read a few paragraphs from each. And on a side story, U.S. to review policies regarding the police response to Texas school shooting. This is at the BBC, which gives an outline of what happened. Maybe I'll do that first. Let me go through the outline real quick of the shooting itself. So between 11 and 11:15, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos sends private message claiming he has shot grandmother and is going to carry out a shooting at a school. 11:28, he crashes his truck into a ditch near Uvalde's Robb Elementary School. At 11:30, police receive report of crash and man with rifle. Gunman fires at two people and walks towards the school. He climbs fence into car park and shoots at school. 11:35, Ramos enters building through propped open door. Wonder why that door was open. Where was security in all this? Several police officers enter school minutes later but remain in hallway. 11:43, school announces lockdown, quote unquote, due to gunshots. 12:03, officers continue to arrive with as many as 19 officers in the hallway. At 12:51, tactical unit enters the classroom using key from janitor and kills Ramos. These Border Patrol agents. So that's at the BBC. So it doesn't start to sound like Baltimore, Ferguson, the federal government swooping in and fixing this racist police department. You know that's going to be the next step. That will definitely be the next step. But going back to the LA Times, Texas school shooter displayed concerning behavior before attack. Uvalde, Texas, Salvador Ramos appeared to be spiraling in the weeks before the 18-year-old left a Texas classroom littered with bodies in one of the worst school shootings in U.S. history. They're trying to be dramatic here. Ramos stopped showing up at his high school, lost his job, began posting troubling images to social media, and started to collect weapons, according to interviews, published reports, and law enforcement documents reviewed by the Times. Eduardo Trinidad, whose son attended Uvalde High School with Ramos, said the young man had minimal contact with other people his age and often dressed entirely in black. In a moment that now seems like grim foreshadowing, Trinidad said he'd warn his son to avoid Ramos. Quote, as I told my son, those are the kids you need to be careful around because you never know, Trinidad said. 1 week before Ramos shot 19 elementary school children and 2 teachers to death, he illegally purchased an AR-15 rifle, according to a summary of a law enforcement briefings reviewed by the Times. He bought 375 rounds of ammunition and so on and so on. But according to this BBC article, he ended up having 1,675 rounds of ammunition. Major discrepancy there. So did he hide some of this ammunition in the ground? In his grandmother's basement? Before he shot her and killed her? No, he didn't kill her. He shot her and she survived. In fair condition, by the way, if you're wondering. So that's at the LA Times. Let's go to Newsweek. Salvador Ramos arrested 4 years ago for planned attack at 18, according to Texas Rep. Salvador Ramos, the teenage gunman who killed 21 people, including 19 children on Tuesday in Uvalde's Robb Elementary School, had been arrested 4 years ago for planning to shoot up a school when he turned 18 years old. This according to Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez. In an interview with Fox News on Friday morning, Gonzalez claimed the shooter was arrested when he was 14, quote, for saying, you know, when I'm a senior in 2022, I'm going to shoot up a school. And his parents didn't alert the authorities at that point or get him into counseling. Where were his parents, by the way? Seriously, in all of these mass shootings, they follow the same pattern. The person has mental illness. They were known to the authorities. They have a stash of ammunition somewhere. They have all these weird posts online. And yet, and I go back to this every time, there's not one single citizen who's able to stand up to the perp, who's got a concealed weapon, who can possibly subdue him or shoot him before the cops arrive. I'm not talking about vigilante justice here. I'm talking about stepping up to the plate when lives are at risk. And you had 19 people, 19 of these officers in the hallway. 19 officers and one of this Salvador Ramos. It took 19 of you to get him out of there. And the Border Patrol agents to grab a key and open the door and unlock it. But he entered through an unlocked door, we were told. As mentioned before, they keep changing the timeline. So getting back to the article here at Newsweek, Gonzalez's claim has not been confirmed by any official source. Authorities have previously said Ramos had no criminal record and no documented history of mental illness. The Republican congressman said the claim was not, quote-unquote, hearsay, but information that he was given late last night. He did not specify where he got the information from. And they've got a photo here of Mr. Ramos. Ain't he a beaut? You should see this photo. I mean, this is somebody you girls want to date out there? And it was rumored that this guy might have been transgender. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, you like dating people like that, well, more power to you. Quote, something fell between, getting back again to the article, something fell between the cracks between then and now to allow this to happen. We need to shake out all the facts. We need to figure out what happened, where the holes are, and we need to make sure it doesn't happen again, Gonzalez said. But if law enforcement, identified him 4 years ago as a threat, we need to figure out why he wasn't, how we got removed from that, Don't you hate it when people say, Because, At any rate, but while Ramos did not have an adult criminal record, having just turned 18, well, of course not Newsweek, because he had just turned 18. It's possible that he had a juvenile criminal record, an idea that has been floated by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Quote, he may have had a juvenile record, but that is yet to be determined, Abbott said during a press conference earlier this week. And the Daily Mail reported an incident involving two Columbine-infatuated teenage boys arrested for threatening to shoot up a school that did take place in Uvalde in 2018, but Ramos was not one of the people listed in that incident. Now here's the kicker, folks. The kicker is that Biden went down to Uvalde. I think he was there today. And he's planning to have the school demolished and rebuild Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. Well, first of all, the President of the United States has no constitutional authority to go down to Uvalde, Texas, and demolish a school. He might be the President of the United States, but he is not the President of the state of Texas. Every state in this union is supposed to be sovereign and independent. We were never supposed to have this centralized authority. Washington, D.C. was just supposed to be a place where our legislators, our representatives met to air out their differences. But the power is really in the hands of the states. So Biden is going to demolish a school when he isn't even governor of the state of Texas. He has no jurisdiction over Texas. None. Because, again, states are sovereign and independent. But the fact that they're going to tear down this school, if in fact that's what they plan to do, shows me that possibly there's a cover-up here. Just like they did with Sandy Hook. And I went back and I watched these clips of what happened with Sandy Hook. With Robbie Parker yucking it up before he got to the podium. And you could tell the whole thing was scripted. But what I want to know, before we end the video here, what I want to know is why the FBI, because I'm pretty sure they're behind this. Now, I'm not saying, and I mentioned this before, I'm not saying that you don't have these mass casualty incidents happen. But at this frequency, and the pattern always remains the same, lone gunman, mental illness, known to the police, parents are never around, school or shopping mall, wherever the incident happened, gets torn down. They keep changing the timeline. They keep changing the narrative. Oh, and I've got another story out there. Maybe I should have done a separate video. I mean, there is so much information out there. Where do you start with this? Now, a false flag isn't necessarily, and I'm not trying to ramble here or go in 5 different directions, because that was something that somebody commented about in one video that's getting quite a bit of traction. The one where I asked if this Uvalde shooting was staged. I was just presenting what was out there. And when you're doing these YouTube videos, just to give you a little taste here, when you're producing a video, it's a lot different being behind the camera than it is in front of it. Or a lot different producing the video rather than being the one who views it. Kind of like watching how the sausage is made. But I wasn't trying to go all over the place in that video. But what I was doing is pointing out that when you have all these mass shootings happening at this rate with the same pattern, and they keep changing the timeline or the narrative, then serious questions need to be asked about what happened, who knew what when. And I want these FBI agents or ATF agents who are involved with this to come clean, come to my channel and say, yes, we did engage in false flags, and this is the reason we did it. What are you hiding? My taxes pay your salary. You work for me. You work for the American public. Come clean about what happened in Uvalde, Texas. Said it before, say it again. The American people deserve to know the truth. And if you are using our tax dollars and squandering our money, our hard-earned money, for, if you want to go in the backwoods somewhere as an FBI agent, ATF agent, or federal agent, and you want to do this on your own time, let's say there's local authorities who are involved in this type of activity. Well, fine. But you're not going to do it on my dime. And if you are, I want you to come clean, come to my channel, and explain to the American people why you feel the need to engage in false flag operations. We have every right to stand up to our government. It's called freedom of speech. Now, I'm not telling people to go out there and harass your senators or harass law enforcement, because that's against the law. You don't do that. That's criminal activity. But we do have the right to ask questions about what's going on with our federal officials and our local community, whoever that person may be, whatever entity it might be. The American people deserve to know the truth. And if you are engaging in these false flag operations on our dime, shame on you at the FBI and the ATF. Again, my taxes pay your salary. You need to come clean, come to this channel, and let me know in the comment section below why you feel the need to engage in these events or stage these mass shootings. Now, one last time here, if something did happen in Uvalde, Texas, okay, fine. But give us the evidence. Give it to us straight. Don't be beating around the bush and giving us 50 different narratives with 60 different timelines. Tell us the truth. Can you tell I'm in a good mood today? Thank you for letting me vent, by the way. So if you enjoyed the video, I know I had a lot to cover today, but if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. You can also find me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, because I write music in my spare time, or catch me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy Twitter. Hope you all have a great Memorial Day weekend. Cultural Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this great country, and I'll catch you next time.